What if I told you that there are still places in the United States where you can buy a farmhouse with real land without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars? Not a small suburban lot, not a crowded neighborhood, but actual open land, space around the house, and distance from everything unnecessary. Across much of the country, finding affordable homes with acreage has become nearly impossible. Prices continue to rise, cities continue to expand, and open land keeps disappearing. More and more people are starting to feel boxed in, surrounded by traffic, noise, and neighbors on every side. And because of that, many are beginning to look elsewhere. They're looking for space, they're looking for quiet, and they're looking for places where life feels slower and less complicated. In parts of Kentucky, that kind of living still exists. There are still areas where land is affordable, homes are spaced far apart, and the pace of life feels different. Welcome to Adorable Living Spaces, where we explore unique and affordable homes and the lifestyles that come with them. In today's video, we're taking a detailed look at 5 affordable farmhouses in Kentucky. Each one sits on acreage, each one offers a different type of rural setting, and each one shows a different side of what country living can look like. As we move through each property, we'll take our time. We'll look at the land, the surroundings, and how each home fits into its environment. We'll also talk about what makes each property interesting, who it might be right for, and how it compares to the others. Make sure to stay until the end, because the most affordable property on this list comes last, and it may not be what you expect. Let's start with the first property on our list, property number 5. Property number 5 is located at 104 Ramey Branch in Volga, Kentucky. This area of Kentucky feels deeply rural. As you move through the surrounding region, it becomes clear that this is not a place filled with dense development or busy roads. Homes are spread far apart, and large sections of land separate one property from the next. The landscape here is defined by trees, rolling hills, and open space. It's the kind of area where the land itself plays a bigger role than the buildings on it. This farmhouse sits on 21 acres of land. That amount of acreage immediately changes how a property feels. It provides space not just around the house, but in every direction. With this much land, there is room for a variety of uses. Some people might use it for gardening or small-scale farming. Others might use it for animals, trails, or simply as private open space. As you look at how the house sits on the property, it's clear that it isn't crowded by nearby homes. There's distance between structures, and the surrounding land gives the home a sense of privacy. The asking price for this property is around $149,000. For a home with this amount of acreage, that price point stands out. The house itself offers 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The layout is simple and practical, designed for everyday living rather than luxury. It's the kind of home that can be lived in as is, or gradually updated over time. But the biggest feature here is still the land. 21 acres provides flexibility. It allows for expansion, for future projects, or simply for enjoying the space without interruption. This property offers a clear example of what rural Kentucky living can look like. Quiet surroundings, open land, and a sense of distance from the pace of city life. Property number 4 is located at 4734 Hendron Road in Paducah, Kentucky. This one feels noticeably different from the previous property, mostly because of its location. Here, you're closer to town, closer to everyday services, and closer to the kind of convenience that some people still want even when looking for a rural-style home. As you look around the exterior, the house itself feels substantial. It's not small, and it doesn't feel like a simple cabin or cottage. There's a sense of scale here that immediately stands out. Now, taking a closer look at the details, this property is listed at $149,900. At that price, the size of the home becomes a major part of the conversation. Inside, the listing shows 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, along with roughly 3,830 square feet of interior living space. That amount of space opens up a lot of possibilities. You can imagine large shared living areas, separate private rooms, or even sections of the house serving completely different purposes. As the interior photos show, this is not a finished, move-in ready home. Much of the inside has been stripped back, with exposed framing, unfinished walls, and open rooms throughout. But that unfinished state also reveals just how large the structure really is. Long sight lines, wide room openings, and a layout that feels flexible rather than locked into one design. For someone planning a renovation, this kind of openness can be a benefit. It makes it easier to reconfigure rooms, update systems, and shape the interior around personal needs and preferences. The property also sits on just over 2.5 acres of land. That's not massive acreage, but it does provide outdoor space, privacy, and breathing room, especially considering how close this home is to Paducah. So while this property isn't fully remote, it also isn't suburban. It sits in that middle ground, where you get interior space, some land, and access to a real town nearby. This is a property that's less about instant comfort and more about long-term potential. A place for someone who sees value in space, is comfortable with renovation, and wants a home that can grow and change over time. Property number 3 is located at 210 Sunset View Road in Tyner, Kentucky. This property shifts the focus away from finished interiors and toward potential. It sits on almost 8 acres of land, with an asking price of around $85,000. The surrounding area feels open and quiet. Homes are fewer, and the land plays a larger role in defining the space. This is the kind of place where development has not yet taken over. The structure on the property is more rustic and unfinished. It's not a polished home, but rather a starting point. For someone with vision, that can be a positive. This property could become many different things: a weekend retreat, a long-term project, or even an off-grid living experiment. The land itself provides the foundation. With 8 acres, there is room to shape the property over time. Nothing feels rushed here. Changes can happen gradually. This is a property that invites creativity. It offers space first and asks questions later. Property number 2 is located at 821 Runnels Branch Road in Litcar, Kentucky. Here, the conversation centers on affordability. This farmhouse sits on nearly 5 acres of land and is priced at just $60,000. The area feels quiet and lightly developed. Homes are spaced apart, and there is a sense of privacy throughout the surroundings. The house includes 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. It does require work, but that is reflected in the price. For buyers willing to take on renovations, this property presents an opportunity. The land carries much of the value, while the structure can be improved over time. This type of property may appeal to someone looking for a lower entry point into land ownership. It offers space without requiring a large initial investment. Here, ownership begins with potential rather than perfection. Property number 1 is located at 8288 Highway 476 in Clayhole, Kentucky. This is the most affordable property on the list. With an asking price of just $42,000, it stands out immediately. The surroundings here are deeply rural. Homes are spread far apart, traffic is minimal, and open land defines the area. The home includes 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, along with approximately 2 acres of land. There are also outbuildings and garage space included with the property. This is not a luxury home, but it is a real opportunity. For many people, this type of property could represent a first step toward land ownership, toward independence, or toward a quieter way of life. Each property in this video offers something different. Some offer more land, some offer more interior space, and some offer the lowest possible price. The right choice depends on what matters most to you. Would you rather have acreage, more living space, or the most affordable option available? Let us know which one stood out to you the most. And if you enjoy exploring affordable homes and rural properties like these, consider subscribing to Adorable Living Spaces for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.